Prison cell shakedowns. I had a question asked by someone the other day about when I do a shakedown and I find gang bookkeeping, gang ledgers, nicknames, incoming and outgoing payments, phone codes, coded gang language, what is the best thing to do? Now that is not a bad question, folks, because this person did do the right thing, but they wanted to make sure they did the right thing. And that was a great find, and that's why we do random cell shakedowns. With staff shortages right now, I know that some of the supervisors are saying we're going to skip the shakedowns. We don't have enough people. If they tell you that, it could be for safety of your own safety, because they don't have enough people, because you don't want to do these cell shakedowns alone. You want to have someone watching the inmates when you get them out of the cell while you do a safe cell shakedown. But today we're going to talk about what you do with the evidence. And I love these random cell shakedowns. When you find this kind of evidence, my suggestion, of course, document every piece of evidence in an incident report. You know, time, date, location, where you found each piece of evidence. Under the inmate's bed mattress, I found a paper with nicknames. In the inmate's lockbox, I found a ledger with payments. Hidden behind the toilet seat, up underneath some pipes, I found some coded language on paper. You know, exactly where you found it, exactly where it was hidden. I also suggest to take photographs of it. Take photographs of the evidence. Then bag and tag the evidence. Hey, you don't have to wait for a jail detective or a prison inspector to come along and bag and tag the evidence. You're a law enforcement officer in the jail or prison. You bag and tag that evidence and get it prepared. You're the first one that found it. Get your name on that evidence bag, date and time. Make sure that you do not let 5 people get on that evidence chain of custody. Take it from you directly to your evidence person. Let them sign and lock it up. That way the next person that gets it is whoever's going to investigate the crime. Because this is a crime. You've just found a payment book, a ledger book with nicknames and bookkeeping and codes. They all need to be figured out and decoded, because this is a danger. Whenever you have gangs doing this type of activity in the prison, which is happening every day, but we have to do our job like this and stop it, slow it down, minimize it. That's what we have to do to protect our fellow officers and all the other people working in the prison and the other inmates that aren't involved in gang activity. Now, I was also asked, what do we do to follow up on this information that I have just gathered and learned? Okay, don't go out and become an investigator. You've already turned your incident report in. You've already taken pictures of the evidence. You've already bagged and tagged your evidence. You've already got it on the roll up to management. And now the prison inspector's office, if you're in prison, or the jail detective, if you're in a jail, has gotten the information. I sure hope so. I sure hope we're not just going to, write this off and move them out and do a DR and lock them up and that's it. Because that won't do anything. That won't solve the issues at hand. Any of those things could be a danger to our staff members in the prison. What if there's a hit on somebody and it's in a coded language? We need to know that. We need to investigate this. What about the payments in that ledger book that are on there? We need to know who those payments are going to. Please don't let there be someone on the inside getting payments. Sometimes there is, and that happens. We need to know that, because they're a danger to their fellow officers. Or if it's a civilian staff member, they're a danger to everybody in the prison as well. It has to be thoroughly investigated. But you as the officer when the question was asked, what do I do next? You continue your business as usual. Knowledge is power, so you keep the knowledge in your head of what you found, but don't target anybody. Because if you start targeting inmates and say, now I'm going to shake this one down, now I'm going to shake that one down, you keep hitting these same inmates in the same dorm over and over and over, they're going to cry retaliation, even though we should be able to shake them down at any time. But we don't target and just keep hitting that spot. Leave that spot alone now for a while. Let the investigation take place. You use that knowledge to look and listen. And when you see something that's wrong, a violation of administrative rules or a crime, yes, you go in and take action and you stop it. You get the inmates and lock them up and do another incident report. But you don't want to go charging in on your own. You did a great job finding this on a cell shakedown. This is a real case, folks. I can't discuss it right now, but you did a great job finding this stuff. I love it. This is a big time hit. This is a big time find. You did your job. Now let the investigators do their job. We don't want to spook any more people. We want to just leave it alone and let the investigation take place. And if you don't see an investigator barging right in immediately, that's because they're working on the case. They're probably going to go to the prisoner jail, pick up this evidence, sign it over to them, because the evidence needs to go. I used to send my evidence to the FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement Laboratory in Tampa, Florida. And I used to send my handwriting and decoding to the actual FBI up in Quantico, Virginia. And we would actually get handwriting codes and stuff taken care of through them. Took a while to get that back. I had to wait a while sometimes for the handwriting stuff and the coded messages. And then FDLE will be going through some of the nicknames and coded language and things like that as well. But I usually use both those entities to help me, That way I'm doing my investigation. I've got FDLE helping me on this side, and I've got the FBI helping me on this side. If you don't think it's serious enough of an incident to use these entities, then I disagree with you strongly. We never know what this kind of contraband can entail. This could lead to outside people and outside charges. This could lead to things, which has happened, that the Florida Department of Law Enforcement can take care of on the streets. This can lead to things that the FBI can take care of if things are coming from different states, different counties, through the RICO Act. You have to think of the possibilities and the long run on these. We're not done once you find this contraband. We need to hit it hard, and we need to be diligent in the investigation. It's for the safety and security. Isn't that what we're there for? Keep everybody safe and secure. So you as an officer, if you realize all these things that are going on and you're sitting there thinking, well, I found this stuff 5 weeks ago. Haven't seen anything, haven't been questioned. What I like to do is what I just mentioned with the evidence. And then I like to at least go and have the officer or officers who found the contraband get their initial sworn affidavit and interview them. And then I tell those officers, do not discuss this with anybody. You did a great job, man, bang up job, good job. Now, I've got the case, I'm going to investigate it, but I don't want you going around talking to other officers on the compound, anybody about this. We're going to just do some investigating through phone calls, through mail, through other agencies, and then when we're ready to come in, we'll come in. And people that know me from the Florida Department of Corrections know that when it was time to come in, I'd already talked to the warden, said, can I get a few guys? Can you spare anybody from the admin shift, or something to help me? We want to hit this area and shake it down again hard, and I want these inmates, and I would give them a list of the inmates' names. I want them picked up, I want them handcuffed, I want them separated from each other, and I want them away from each other. That's when I would begin my at the prison or at the jail questioning of these inmates and the further shakedown of their property. I want their property and these inmates. So I may have 10 inmates, and what I'm expecting is 10 inmates separated and cuffed and 10 piles of inmate property. And I would go down there with the officers. I couldn't be at all 10 places at one time, but I would go with the officers and I'd be right there with them. So when that time comes, folks, it will happen. Be patient when you're on the front line and you make a hit like this. It's not going to be resolved overnight. In the meantime, again, listen, watch, and if you see something wrong, it's your job to step in and take care of it. Don't go in there investigating, and don't go in there targeting. That's my main two things. We don't want any defense attorney to come back and say, you know, that officer targeted. You targeted him, didn't you, officer? And you're going to say, no, I didn't. Well, you searched the same area this day, this day, this day, this day, this day. Don't you have other areas in the prison that could be a concern? Concern. I get excited on these things. Concern as well. You know, you have to think about what the defense is going to try to do. They're going to try to make you look like a RoboCop. No, you're just doing your job. We know that. The state attorney knows that. But the defense is their job is to make you as an officer look like a RoboCop and you're retaliating against somebody. Malarkey, bull, we know it, but that's what they do, folks. So that's why we just got to keep centered, keep focused on what we're doing, and let the chips fall where they may. I hope that helps. The question that I received on this topic, great job, great find. Let's go get them now. Okay? Let's bust them up. I wasn't given a location. I wasn't given names. I don't know where this is from. It was just a question that was sent my way. And I appreciate that as well. You're smart for doing that because you don't need to be discussing specifics, specific locations and names. So glad you did it the way you did. Thank you very much. Stay strong, folks. Keep those cell shakedowns going and keep finding that contraband. Gary York, True Prison Stories.